My name's Carolyn. I've been working in the crypto space for about 5 years. Started out with Consensus, was one of the first employees there, most Ethereum thing that you could do. Was there for about 3 years, helped them grow up to 1,000 folks. And then I decided to leave and go join a Bitcoin maximalist startup, Casa. That was with Jameson Lopp, Nick Newman, Elena from Trezor. And while I was there, I got a really great refresher on the fundamentals. So, like the importance of security, resiliency, and above all else, censorship resistance and individual sovereignty. But at the end of the day, I'm a technologist. I'm a BUIDLer first and a hodler second. So I said goodbye to the Bitcoin-only world and was really excited to meet the Keep team, Matt Luongo, a few others. They're working on a project that brings the best of both worlds together, Bitcoin and Ethereum, tBTC. We've been working on this for about a year now with folks like James Presswich, Suma, the Cross-Chain Group, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about it. So why are we here in the space? I think some of us came here for the unstoppable code, some came for the global world computer, and now we've got a new meme, DeFi. Really exciting achievement this week. We hit $1 billion locked in DeFi, woohoo! Which is great, super exciting for this meme. But when you really start to think about continuing to grow DeFi, you realize there's a ceiling that we're gonna hit, right? When you look at that 1 billion in DeFi next to the 29 billion Ethereum market cap, like there is a very real ceiling there, and we should start to think about how can we continue this growth? How can we continue to bring valuable assets and collateral on chain? And especially with lots of DeFi projects like Maker, for example, that require a lot of collateralization, this is a real problem. Some people are thinking about assets like securities, more traditional assets. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in trustless, digitally native assets. So with that in mind, what's the next best and biggest pile of collateral? Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still just a little bit bigger than Ethereum. So there's a lot of potential there. So how can we do this? How can we bring DeFi to Bitcoin? Now, that's kind of a paternalistic question, right? If there are any Bitcoiners out there watching, you'd probably be like, Bitcoin doesn't need DeFi. But when you really think about it, Bitcoin is the original DeFi. Store of value, be your own bank, digital cash. We're just saying, let's take it one step further. Let's do loans. Let's earn some interest. And another way to think about it, how do we bring Bitcoin and Bitcoin users into DeFi? Now, I think that Ethereum is really uniquely positioned to be like this interoperability hub. And we should actually be thinking about how can we bring real-world assets, all types of assets, into Ethereum to continue to grow DeFi and provide value to the ecosystem. People have been trying this for a while. I bet some of you OGs out there remember sidechains. We've been talking about sidechains since 2014, earlier, and largely they've been vaporware. There are a few layer one interoperability plays out there that are coming soon, but in terms of a pure Bitcoin to Ethereum bridge, nobody's really done this in a simple, elegant way. There have been some hacks, though. Federations, this is one thing that we've been doing for a little while now. Federation's a pretty simple concept. You gather a group of people together, and you have to trust them, and they hold your Bitcoin, and all of the transactional stuff happens on-chain. Federations are great because you get price exposure, right? You get that exposure to Bitcoin, which is what you need for DeFi, and it's a really simple implementation. I bet any of you guys out there that have touched Solidity could whip up something like wrapped Bitcoin, WBTC, super quickly, which is great. You get your price exposure. Except, well, why did you get into this space in the first place? I don't know about you, but I didn't get into this space to, have to ask permission to transact, to have some sort of intermediary there. I got into this space because I care about censorship resistance, sovereignty, and consent. And the moment you turn to a federation-based peg that requires trust, you just throw all of that out the window. You throw out censorship resistance, you throw out institutional roadblocks. It goes against everything that crypto stands for, in my opinion. So synthetics are another cool hack. I'm sure you guys are familiar. So the way synthetics work, you lock up a bunch of ETH, and then there's an algorithm that maintains a peg to the price of an asset. These are great because it's censorship resistant, right? If you're using a synthetic that it represents a stock, for example, you can be sure nobody's going to steal your stock, which is cool. But there are always downsides. Couple risks I see here. One is that this can get dangerous, right? If you're continuing to stack synthetics on top of each other, you've got undue FX risk there. And the more that you stack these synthetics with all these DeFi protocols, the greater the chance that we're going to experience some sort of catastrophic black swan event in DeFi. For example, if I asked everybody out here how much Ether they'd be willing to lock up to feel confident that that Ether would be worth more than 1 Bitcoin in 6 months, that's a hard question. I feel like I'd get a lot of different answers here, so it's tough. And then the second thing is, you can't redeem synthetics for Bitcoin, which is important, right? If I'm talking to my OG Bitcoiner maximalist friends that work at Casa, they don't care about synthetics on Ethereum. They, in fact, don't like those at all. And if they're going to use a system like this, they need to know that they're using real Bitcoin and that they can redeem trustlessly at any time for real Bitcoin. So what are we trying to do here? What is missing in these previous attempts? We're trying to build a censorship-resistant, fully Bitcoin-backed ERC-20 token. No censorship resistance, no institutional middlemen, just trustless implementation. How are we going to do this? So I'm actually going to show you how very quickly. We've got a video of a demo here. Okay, here we go. So this is a really simple dapp. This is actually a dapp that touches both the Ethereum chains, you can see MetaMask there, and the Bitcoin chain. And what we're doing here in the beginning is we're initiating a deposit. And when we do that, we're pinging the Ethereum chain, and we're asking for a group of signers to assemble. This is the federation. It comes together, they're chosen randomly, and you're asking them to give you a Bitcoin address, right? These group of signers produce a PKH hash. And then in a moment, there you see Bitcoin address. You're going to pay that, use your green wallet or whatever. And then at this point, it's pretty simple. You do have to wait for 6 blocks for a confirmation. So if we were really doing a demo, this would take some time. We shorten this for you. But then after you get those confirmations, there's only one last step. This one here is you're going to submit the proof. So this is an SPV proof, and basically what you're doing is you're telling the Ethereum chain, here's the proof that I actually did send the Bitcoin. It's there. It's safe now to send tBTC to my wallet. There you go. All right. So that's how. And what's the idea behind all this? So we're calling this a bonded multi-federated peg, which is a lot of words for something so simple. But basically, what this means is you're looking at the Bitcoin chain, and you're checking behavior. You're having a lot of different federations, brand new ones. You don't have to trust like 11 out of 15, like 12 institutions, the same federations. And then if you are participating in the system as a signer, you're going to put up ETH. You have an ETH bond. You need to have skin in the game. So to go into a little bit more detail, you have this new dynamic federation every time you request 1 Bitcoin. And that federation is assembled randomly, selected randomly using a random beacon. At Keep, we've built a random beacon, I've been working a while on it, and once this federation is selected randomly, you're gonna bond them, right? And this is a way to prevent misbehavior, and you have some real on-chain recourse. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And then lastly, you're reading the Bitcoin history to validate. And if you've done any Solidity out there, you know that in an Ethereum dapp, we're not actually reading the Bitcoin chain. What we're doing is we're asking somebody off-chain to read for us and let us know. So what happens if you misbehave, right? If you're one of the signers and you cheat. So we're gonna slash you. And in most slashing, it's slashing in most consensus mechanisms, it's punitive. You're slashing and then you're burning those tokens to the ground. You really want people to feel the pain. In our system, we don't have that punitive element. Instead, we're using the slashed funds to maintain the peg. So if someone cheats, we take their ether, we go to the market, we buy more tBTC and use that to keep the peg. So there's definitely some collateral requirements here. At first, we've got a bit more of a naive solution where we're using 2.5x collateral. This is a big number, but wanted to be honest here and put the largest one. Really, if you think about it, you could argue that it's only 1.5x ETH because there is some liquidity there on the Ethereum side. But we are thinking about some clever ways to shave this down. And one of the ways that they've come up with is basically, if you have some of the Bitcoin depositors collateralized against each other, you can actually get it down to 1.4x collateral. And it's still expensive, but it's definitely less expensive than getting doxxed. And it's trustless. So, well, almost trustless. This is the last piece in terms of the whole design. And this is price oracle, right? If we're doing this kind of slashing and liquidation mechanism, we need an accurate price feed for the Bitcoin to Ether price. For version 1, we're going slightly centralized. We're using Maker's Medianizer oracle, definitely the industry standard, and we just wanted to get it out there because working on a decentralized price oracle, it's a hard problem. But we are hacking together some things. We've been whiteboarding for a while this, we're calling it a priceless feed mechanism, which is really, I'm very excited to share with you guys more about it, but I won't get too into it now. That's tBTC. It's an open source project. The Keep network, along with Suma and the cross-chain group are all collaborators. And I've got a few teasers for you guys here at the end. So one thing that we've recently added is increasing the lot sizes. So in the beginning, when we built this, we had it a single lot size, just 1 Bitcoin. So you could only bring 1 Bitcoin into the system and mint 1 tBTC, which is kind of a lot. So we heard you, and we've built smaller lot sizes into the smart contracts. So now you can build some of these smaller sizes into your dapp, 0.1, 0.01, keeps going. And this one I'm most excited about. The team has been working really hard for, it's like a total of 2 years, Keep Network and tBTC. So it's awesome to finally be live on Ropsten, connected. Woo! Thank you. And to add to that excitement, the folks at Compound Finance are really interested in what we're doing, and they've actually, behind the scenes, have integrated their smart contracts in with tBTC. So that means that not only can you hack on tBTC, use Bitcoin in your dapp, you can also hack and use ctBTC in your dapp, so you can earn interest on Bitcoin. So let's build. We're at ETHDenver. It's all about building. tBTC.js is open source. These are our libraries. If you're participating in the hackathon today, take a picture, save it, check it out. tBTC, we're really determined to be the best and the easiest way to add Bitcoin to your dapp. So give us feedback. We want to know how we're doing. And if you're hacking, check out our bounty. We've got a 3,000 DAI bounty today in collaboration with Compound. We want to see the best Bitcoin to DeFi experience that you can build. If you go there to this GitHub/keep-network/ETHDenver, you'll see a link to the bounty itself. You'll have a whole bunch of documentation and resources to help you get going if you're interested. I'm also going to be around, so you can come ask me. We've got some colleagues here. There's Laura and Corbin and a few others. Nick, one of our lead developers, is going to be here. And then Adam and Max are their names, yes, from Compound are here. Not here yet, but we've got a lot of people that can help. Last bit here. So we're going to be announcing our mainnet Q1 launch date and all of our DeFi integration partners really soon. So make sure to keep an eye on us on Twitter, follow the tBTC hashtag. And if you have a DeFi project out there and you're interested in having Bitcoin on your project, integrating with tBTC, come talk to me. I'm here all weekend. That's my Telegram. Feel free to ping me. Would be great to talk. And then don't forget to follow along for further updates. So I'm on Twitter at @CReckhow. You can follow Matt, project lead, at MHLuongo on Twitter. We got just one last teaser for you guys. If you're interested, pay attention, because really soon we're going to be letting everybody know how you can use your ETH to bring Bitcoin to DeFi. So stay tuned. Thank you. That's it. Oop, I'll leave this up in case people want to check it out. Do I have time? Are there any questions? I think I have a little bit of time. That was a question about our plan for the lot sizes. Yes, so that implementation DApp, or the DApp that I showed you guys, we're calling that our implementation DApp. So it's essentially just a lovely front end that our designer Michael built, but just to show what the minting and redemption process is like. And we're only going to keep that DApp at one lot size, or one Bitcoin lot size, but we've built in the capability of doing logarithmically smaller lot sizes. So if you're building a dapp, you can use this. Greater than? Yeah, great question. So we're actually working with a couple of different potential partners on building a more institutional front end that batches a whole bunch of Bitcoin together and mints a whole bunch at once. So we're going to have some partners to recommend you towards if you have a whole bunch of Bitcoin that you want to mint at once. Yeah, so that's the question was about what prevents the random federations from taking your Bitcoin. And they're not going to take their Bitcoin because in the beginning, they're over-collateralized, right? There's a 1.5x over-collateralization in ETH. So there's this ETH bond, they have skin in the game, and if anybody does misbehave, what we do is we slash them, we take that ETH, we buy more tBTC in the market to keep the peg. Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. The question was, what's the incentive to be a keep signer, to sign for tBTC? And so a couple things there. One is fees, right? Maybe you noticed it in the demo, but there's a little note that says there's a small fee every time you mint. And right now we're keeping those fees pretty low. It's going to be 20 basis points per Bitcoin. But we imagine as demand grows for this, the fees could potentially go up. But those fees are going directly to signers. And then there's also an element around the Keep token, which is a work token that's necessary to run Keep tBTC, but I won't get too much into that. But it's basically fees, and then there's some network incentives. I think that might be all I have time for. But yeah, check it out. Ping me on Twitter, on Telegram. I'll be around.